Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. My name is Mitch Pattinson, and as always, we are joined by Ethan Duffy, and we are previewing our match this week, Carlton v Melbourne at the MCG, round 19, 7:35, Saturday, 19th of July, as I just said, at the MCG. First things first, we are on a bit of a new platform at the moment. We are on StreamYard, which is obviously a new site that we've joined to do the preview, and we're still trying to get used to all the logistics of it, Duffy boy. But obviously, we've just been doing the Zoom for the past 2 years, which has been good, and now we're trying to step it up a little bit with the platforms, and it's good to join, but if there are times throughout the episode where it is sometimes a little bit hard to kind of focus because there's so much going on this screen. It does take I'm sure it will take a few episodes to get used to, but I'll throw straight to you, Duffy boy. It's been a while since we've done an episode as well. We did it on the Thursday night after the game, but I'll throw straight to you. Initial thoughts towards the Daffy Cup this week. How are you?
No, I'm good, mate. Bit of a different setup going on, but yeah, it's gonna work out, and we're gonna have some exciting things over the next probably 6 to 12 months working on this platform. So yeah, no, it's another week, Patto. Another game of footy. We've still got another, 6 more games? Is it 6 more games?
Oh, yeah, I think it's 6, yeah.
Season, so
no, 5.
5 more. Is it 5? 6? Is it round
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Yeah. So
6.
There you go. But yeah, it's, we've spoken about this. It's going to be a long end of the season, but there's still footy to be played. And I spoke to you off air, and I still feel like there's a lot of pride in these games. I feel like they'll want to get the best out of themselves over the next 6 weeks. Well, that's what I hope.
Yeah.
That's what I hope is the case. Whether that actually comes to fruition, I highly doubt it. But this week, both teams, very similar seasons. Expectations a little bit higher than what the output has been. And you look at it, and we're exactly the same spot on the ladder. The percentage is almost identical.
Yeah.
And, we've had some really, really good contests over the last few years against them. I think our last 3. So we won the last 3 against them, including that semi-final. The Marchbank touched, and last year, Newey and Cripper tackling track with about 10 seconds to go. Maxi Gorn flicked it out the back, and then the tackle on the pissing down wet. But I think it's an average of 3.5 points. The winning margin has been the last 3. So they've all been tight contests. Obviously, this is probably different stakes. It's not a semi-final. It's, the season isn't on the line, but I want to be going in there thinking we can win this game. So what are your thoughts, Patto? I think I don't know how to explain it at the moment.
I think we have the exact same opinion about it. It's like we have 6 more games to kind of get through the season, and then we can head towards some exciting times at the end of the year with trade period and all of that. And the preseasons when we love to say, "Oh, this guy's absolutely tearing up the track," and they're looking towards a big year the next year. I feel like we are just at the exact same point where we've just gone through so much. And I think Melbourne have gone through similar, but I just still think I can trust Melbourne more than what I trust Carlton. And I know that we are obviously Carlton supporters and we're more harsh on Carlton at times.
Yeah.
But I think the way that I look at Melbourne, I still feel like they're performing quite solid football because they obviously won the game last week, but it was obviously only against North Melbourne. But I'm more looking at it, and I'm just seeing it more as I want Carlton to show more this week. But I guess the question is straight back to you is, what do you think you are wanting to see this week? I know I mentioned it last episode at the end of the episode, for the last 6 weeks, what do you want to see as a Carlton supporter? Like whether that's youngsters, whether that's more players coming in, playing different role, or new game plan, whatever it is. I'll throw straight back to you. Like, what do you think, you heading into this game, wanting to see something different, what could that possibly be coming Saturday night?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things kind of going in my mind, and I've said it over the last few weeks. I've lost my excitement heading to the footy. I'm sure a lot of people have. Funnily enough, I always mention my dad with Melbourne, and he spoke about it last week, heading to North Melbourne versus Melbourne. He just walked to the ground. He goes, I just don't have any sort of excitement going to the footy, which is just sad. We're both in sad positions. So, but in terms of our next 6 weeks, I just want to see some sort of sustained performance in terms of I know what we're going to get. So like it goes to it's always first quarters we play well, right? And we're not going to, you're not always going to play at a high level. I understand that. Every team doesn't do that. Brisbane didn't on the weekend. We killed them in the second quarter, didn't make them pay. And then, you look at the third quarter and they get it back on their terms. So for me, it's just a sustained consistency. It doesn't need to be like that high. So I know what I'm going to get out of. Some good moments. Like that's what I want to get out of the next 6 weeks. I want to get a moment this weekend where I get out of my seat and I get around them. You know what I mean? Like, we've missed that. I think the only moment was last week when Big Pitto kicked it from 100 metres out. Like, I was in my hotel room. Like, I hadn't been excited, like, watching Carlton. It hadn't really. Has there been moments in the last 6 weeks, really?
No.
Even in the Essendon wins or the West Coast wins, there hasn't been that, that moment where it gets you out of your seat at home or if you're at the game. And I was up and about that moment. I was like, holy shit, like, what the hell? I know the crowd, a lot of people who were there saying, like, it was the Carlton Roar was there, and then obviously the rest of the game happened. But yeah, I just want to see something that I'm excited about. Like you said, with youngsters, I'm smelling a Moya. He's going to have some sort of game in the next 6 weeks where we go, okay, we've got something to play with there. I thought he was good last week, apart from his finishing. So I think there's a lot of things. I want to see good players play really well. Continue to play well. Cripps played well last week, but just finish off the year strong. Have that rest, get your bodies right, and then hit pre-season hard with hopefully a few new names in the mix.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those good players that have been quite solid all year was the George Hewitts, Adam Cherras, Nick Haynes, like Jacob Weitering has been off the past few weeks. I think that group of players that really need to not really look at this season as like, oh yeah, it's done and buried. Let's look towards next year. No. Let's try and get some momentum heading into the end of the season, obviously 2025, but heading into next year, 2026, let's try and get some momentum. Like, I don't want these players to just look forward towards the preseason break and look towards really, like, why can't you do it in the actual games right here, right now? You've still got 6 games, and I know that they are dead rubbers, but you can almost use them to try new things. Like, I know that Collingwood are doing it at the top of the ladder, and I know that the positions are completely different, but they're at the top of the ladder with 1.5 games in front of Brisbane at second, and they are trialling stuff. And I'm sure their loss against Gold Coast last week, they wouldn't have even, they would have cared, but they would have been excited about the opportunities because they knew that they tried new things with Josh Dacos going through the middle. I want us to try that. I want us to try and find some new opportunities. Like literally Jack Martin at Geelong playing in that halfback flank was just, it's something that we never even thought about. Even as supporters, we never really even brought it up as like a supporter base. And I want these players, like if I see a guy like, say like a Billy Wilson, if he comes into the side and plays in the middle, I'll be like, okay, I'm excited about that. And even Ashton Moyer, he's had glimpses through the middle. If he wants to play some mid-time and play maybe 25 mid, 75% forward, I'm happy with that. I just want to see some like changes. And are you kind of in the same boat about that? Like seeing, like, is that what you're most excited about? Is the opportunities that these not? I probably wouldn't really talk about the superstars. I'm more talking about like the guys who have been on the fringe, like the Moyers, like the Boyds, like the Wilsons. These guys, even like a Lucas Camporelli. We're going to touch on his brother as well, Ben Camporelli, in the injuries and suspension segment. But I'll throw it to you, like, is that what you're most excited about, the new players coming in and what they could kind of mean in this team right now?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Moyes, I think everyone is saying it. He's got something about him. I think we said that from his first game against West Coast last year, that he's got something about him, and Wilsons and stuff. I would like that, to see a few trials. I don't want to go fully. I still think we need to try and win these games. People got to go daft, but just get we're shit. Let's get a better draft pick. But I'm never that type of supporter. And like you said, why can't they go out and try and win these games the next 6 weeks? And my mentality at the moment is a bit of a St Kilda mentality. Let's ruin some fucking seasons.
Yep.
We play Hawthorn next week. Go out and beat them.
Yep.
Go out and give it to them. Go instead of giving them a free win on their way to finals. Let's scare them a bit. Let's hit them where I know that's next week, and I'm not saying we will because I don't have any trust at the moment. But the next 6 weeks, we've got a few teams like that. You got Hawthorn, Gold Coast,
Fremantle.
Yes, Freo, which we do play well over in Perth. We've only played West Coast there, but in the past we've naturally had a better kind of good form over there. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to bring up in this episode. I think we need to have a bit of a villain mentality. I don't want to let it go. I don't want to let that Hawks game go, and I don't want to let that Gold Coast. I want to go there and celebrate it and go, oh shit, we're putting on this team who's you see it all the time at the back end of a season. Like you look at St Kilda last year, they did it to us in the last round. And we might have been going, I remember we were saying, typical St Kilda, they got nothing to play for in the last 4 rounds. But we're now in that position. So, we've got the next 6 weeks to have an opportunity to hopefully get 1 or 2 scalps. And, I know this week's on a finals team we're playing, but let's start, just get some sort of momentum, like you said.
Yeah. I'll ask again. I asked the same question last premiere episode. Are we playing Melbourne or St Kilda this week?
I feel like they're rent-free in my brain at the moment, Patto, St Kilda. I don't know why, because I have little to no care about that football club at all. But it's a similar situation. Like I just think, we're not good enough to probably beat all these teams. But if there's an opportunity there to go out on a Hawthorn and go, we're going to give you 4 quarters. We're not going to give you this easy game. We're not going to give you these easy games. Let's get Charlie back into form. Let's get Harry back into form. Charlie is in better form, but we need him in goal-kicking form. Why can't he start that this week? Which a team that he naturally kicks goals against, especially Stephen May. That matchup's always pretty tight, but I feel like he's had the wood over him, especially in his good seasons. So, yeah, well, let's make a start this week. Let's get the fucking win. Because we're sick of it. As supporters, we want something to celebrate.
Yeah, exactly right.
And I'm not saying it's gonna be all the best because we've beaten Melbourne. Oh my God, all the problems we've had in the last 6 weeks are gone because we've beat Melbourne. No, I just want to leave the G on Saturday night, Patto, and head on to the review and not talk about the same things again. I want to talk about, that was a fucking good game by Charlie. That was a good game by Moya kicking 2 and kicking the sealer. Those types of moments. Those young guys need those moments. They need to win games. Even Flynn Youngs and guys like that. Harry O'Farrell has won a game. Let's get him a fucking win.
Yeah. I completely get your point. You're 100% spot on. What I'm annoyed about is if we fucking pull our finger out the past 6 weeks and we beat teams like Hawthorns and the Fremantles and Gold Coast at Marvel and even Port Adelaide at Marvel, that would annoy the living daylight out of me because I'm so you guys can fucking do it. You can do it. That's what annoys me. And I don't know why we are so reactive. Why do we always have to wait? Like, why does the pressure always have to come onto us and be like, oh, so you guys actually going to play for your coach to start to play well? Why? It's always a Carlton problem. It is always a thing that has been happening for years on end, and I cannot understand why it always has to be reactive rather than, you love to say, proactive. Why can't we start the season well, maybe have a bit of a setback halfway through the season, but then end the season well, not start the season shit, win a few games 3 or 4 games in a row, then be shit again, and then have like a 10-game win streak and make finals. Why do we do that? I don't know why we always do it.
It's always patches. It's always patches of form. I think, I think the last few years we've started pretty well, apart from this year, of course, where we've started 3-0s and 4-0s and 3 wins and a draw in 23. Like you said, I just think for me, I think the start of the season, there's expectations, but I think in the middle of the seasons where the real expectations come, it's like, can you really be that team that can push for finals? Then we seem to falter at that point, don't we? When the real, like even last year, beating Geelong, beating Richmond, 5-6 goals up against the Giants, and they challenged us because we know in the back of our heads, we win that game, we probably make it easier for us to push the top 4. But that hurdle seems to still be there. Like you look at it, we won 3 games in a row, get smashed by Adelaide. and didn't even put a fight. Like, I was expecting to lose that. I wouldn't have mind losing. Like, of course, you don't like losing, but it's just the way you lose. Clearly, we're not good enough.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, no shit, Ethan. We're not good enough. Um, but it is frustrating. And even in years where we've been pretty good, like I think 22 was our first year with Voss. People will say we choked finals, but like we had 4 games to win 1 game to make finals. So that's a good position considering where we were in 21, 23. We had this, the second half of the year was good, and we just had bad patches in the middle. So, and then last year, like you can't be dropping, you can't almost be relying on results to make finals after having such a good season, in my opinion. So, first 16 weeks. So you're right. The patches we need to minimise, especially next year. Like you always want to start hot, but I'd rather start 2-2 and then have a good middle patch rather than starting hot and then just dipping.
Yeah, exactly right. It's very frustrating, and it's been a Carlton way, and I don't know if that requires then that there needs to be some changes. I don't know what it really is, because I think I kind of look at Richmond, and I know that they won a flag in 2017, but the year before in 2016, like 2015, 2014, 2013, they were all in finals and they didn't go too well. But 2016 was the year when they were all shit. Yeah. That's when all the supporters were calling for Dim's head. That's when they were calling for the board changes. That's when they were calling for assistant changes. That's when they were calling for list changes. Yeah. But then 2016, end of the year, they said, no, we're going to back these guys in. And then I'm sure all the supporters then, like we probably are now with Carlton hinting that we're probably going to back in Voss for next year. Everyone's saying, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, Michael Voss should not be our man heading into next year. But I know we're on the side of I think he should be, because I don't think it's his fault and I don't think he's the problem. But I don't think there are a lot of problems. I think we have a lot of positive assets right in our hands right now heading into next year. It's just whether we fucking use them.
Yeah, that's it. It's perfect. That's all it is. That is all it is. That's why I've said over the last few weeks, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm not forecasting the future, but I do not think there is any positives with trading these guys out, the superstars. I think we need to keep them, and they need to fucking figure it out.
Yeah,
they need to figure it out. Because you look at that team. I just watched just a little reel before of the former CEO at Carlton, Stephen Trigg, who was there when Bolton came in. So he joined at the same year. So that's when Harry and then he saw them kind of evolve as people, and he said, they're great footballers, and he just doesn't understand how the team hasn't worked it out yet. So it's just so frustrating. But I don't think we need to, like you said, don't throw the baby out of the bathwater. I think that's the saying. And Richmond did it. They made the right decisions. They brought Presti and Nankervis and Caddy in, who ended up being 3 premiership players. And Nankervis is now the captain, and they kept the coach. And a lot of those guys who were disappointing in 2016, guys like Castagna and Daniel Rioli, all of a sudden had a role to play. We have the similar players that can have roles next year who do not have roles this year. The best 22 is never going to be the same the next year. Look at Brisbane. They have different guys rolling through there. I know Kitty Coleman missed most of last year, but he's playing twos.
Yep.
He's playing twos, and people go, why is he not in? But he's playing better, or so-and-so's playing better. It changes every year. And I've always been told, like, you look at the grand final teams and the premiership teams, they're never the same the next year. They're never the same, as well as the other teams. So, like I said, minor little fixes that can be a major change.
Yeah. I think the only probably appropriate comparison to a team being pretty similar was probably 2013, 2014, 2015 Hawthorn. But let's be real, I think there were also players then that kind of came in, like 1 or 2 players that made a difference for Hawthorn to then catapult themselves up to the premiership, to contend for a premiership again, and then they won. 2013, 2014, 2015, they were all the same. And I know that Richmond probably would have been the same, where I think the core list would have been very similar.
Yeah.
It's small assets along the way, and I think we have that. We have that sorted. And I love that you mentioned Nankervis as well, because let's be real, I think our problem is quite similar at the moment, where if TDK does leave at the end of the year, what we kind of do there, and we've been speaking about, it would be so great if we can find a VFL ruckman who is behind one of the best ruckmans in the competition, whether it's a Grundy or whether it's a Gorm, whether it's a Cherry, there probably would be a VFL ruckman in those teams that just simply can't get a spot because they're behind one of the best ruckmen in the competition. So I think that could be something that we could look at. But also, you mentioned as well Pitto earlier. He could be the man. But we don't even know if TDK is leaving. I think it's probably, at this point, it's probably 85% that he's leaving. Let's be real.
Yep.
But we can always find other ways to kind of improve this list. And I think we did that at the end of last year with the changes that we made with, unfortunately, Owies and Kennedy finding their way out the door. But then we brought in Jagger Smith, who is going to be a superstar for 10 years.
Yeah.
And we get to see him next year. Like, I don't want to put any pressure on him, but I'm very excited to see that. But definitely, let's now move on to the injury list and suspensions. And I just think we just have to start off with, we don't usually start off with suspensions because I know that it's not like a weekly thing, but the first thing that we need to touch on is Ben Camporelli. So he's a guy that we've been crying out for a few weeks now to hopefully debut. And unfortunately, in the VFL, he has been suspended for a push in the centre bounce attendance. I can see the vision in my eyes, and I still can't believe I've actually seen that. And that has been found out to be a 4-week suspension. But if you haven't seen that vision, it's quite. I think I'm a bit biased because it is Carlton, a Carlton player.
Yeah.
I think I am on the side of that, but I was thinking the exact same thing earlier on in the year. West Coast, Richmond. Who was the player that pushed? Was it Harley Reid?
Yeah, it might have been. And speaking about Harley Reid, the tripping. So he doesn't.
He didn't get suspended, did he?
No, he got $6,000 fine, and I'm a big fan of him. Right?
He doesn't give a fuck about money.
Like it's $6,000, and he's done it 6 times. So how does a guy who pushes someone get 4? And you know what it is, Patto? It's the fucking result of it, because the 2 guys got knocked out. The 2 guys got concussion, Robertson and whoever the other terrible player was. No, I'm kidding. The other Brisbane player, but they both ended up. I think Tunstall actually had broken teeth, which I feel really bad for. And then Robertson obviously had his own situation, which we won't talk about that. But so it ended up with them getting knocked out. I think that's the reason for the result. Is that, you reckon that's right? Like, it's not even the action; it's more. What happens if he pushes him and then it doesn't go anywhere? He wouldn't get suspended for that, but because he pushed him into a guy who's running it. Like, I think maybe a week. 4 is just pushing it, and 1's even pushing it. But I understand. It's just, I get it because he kind of knew the traffic was coming, and you're putting a guy under the pressure. But then you're in the heat of the battle, Patto. What the fuck else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, that's the side that I'm from, and I think I should remember this, but it was definitely the preseason game when that whole conversation came out about the push, and he got clean knocked out. I don't know exactly who it was, but I feel like it was West Coast and another. I think it was Richmond, but that whole conversation, it was at the start of the year, so like we haven't really seen an issue like that happen before in the AFL, and when that happened, everyone was like, "Oh, well, that action can't happen," because that was I think it was Jinby. I think it was Jinby who pushed someone.
Yes.
Jinby. Oh my god!
I don't know.
Law? I think it was Lawler.
Yeah, it was in the preseason. It was preseason. Yes.
I think it was Lawler. Yeah, okay. So I think it was Lawler. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, jaw.
Yes. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know if we've got the players exactly right, but obviously, I'm glad that you know the incident that happened. So that's to me, like when I saw that, I was like, that's not on. With Camporelli, we see, and this is when it brings back to the action of it and the result. That's what the issue is, because Camporelli, you watch probably 75% of the competition, they do that. That is classified as midfield craft. I know that pushing someone in the back straight to the next contest isn't the right way to go about it, but he doesn't see that. He doesn't know that. And it's not like this guy's ever been suspended or even had anything close to being suspended. No. So, and I know that that's probably like a Carlton supporter speaking, a Carlton player shouldn't be suspended. But I just think if it was any other player, I don't think it's acceptable that he is suspended, but I think this action happens too much in AFL football. So it's either like, all right, this is a statement where I don't mind if Camporelli gets suspended for 4 weeks, but this action is not to happen again in the AFL. And if it does, you will be suspended for 3 or 4 weeks. But I think my problem is that it always results in the action and the result of the other player's injury. Like it was literally cherry on the weekend with Sparrow. Like that was a very kind of unfortunate incident. I know that obviously Sparrow was knocked out cold and it was quite a unfortunate experience for him and his family. But I think like that action, that 90% of the time that would not result in any injury. It's just like the literal contact was just so hard and it was in the exact spot on his chin that just knocked him out cold. But that action happens probably so many times throughout the season where it's not even brought up because no one else gets hurt. So I think, in my opinion, I think Cherry should get off. But also you can't really give him 1 week because now they've changed the rules where it's either 3 weeks or 0. So I want to hear your I know we're kind of off track with Carlton, but it's been such a conversation within the AFL. I want to hear your opinion about that whole Cherry situation, and if you want to relate it back to Camporelli, in your opinion, about that whole situation, and more like the AFL is worrying more, and the MRO are worrying more about the injury and what actually happens to the player rather than the actual action and what they're getting suspended for.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me. I think they need a whole revamp of the MRO just to make it simpler and just streamline. Because I think our game is so different to any other sport where there's so many different intricacies. There's so many different movements you can do with your body. There's so many ways you can push your opponent. There's so many ways you can win the ball. So, with the Sherry one, I think it's a suspension.
Yeah.
And I know they were going, but he was, and it was. I agree, it wasn't a swing. I don't think he really wanted to hit him, but I also think, in a way, he kind of knew what he was doing.
It was clumsy.
He didn't want to hurt him, but he did want to hit him. I don't think he wanted to hit him in the face.
Yeah, because
it was more one of those chest. Because, like I said in the review of the North game when we played him, I think Trishan Sherry is a very fine line of the way he plays football. And I'm not having a go, but I actually think he almost gets over that line a few too many times and gets away with it. If he was on our team, I'd like the way he plays because he's physical. But, when you look at it, and if he's hurting your players and it starts to get, you hurt a player on the weekend with Melbourne. So, I don't really know. I'm so confused on how it's going to end up. But I think, Camporelli, for me, I think maybe it's a week because he should have probably known the dangers. But then, I don't know. It's so just, I don't know anymore. I really, really don't know. I think Sherry's not 3. I think it's more of a 1. And I think Camporelli's maybe 1, in my opinion. If they want to stamp that stuff out, I don't know what a month of no footy is going to do. Like you said, never been suspended. And then we're letting guys like Harley Reid almost break a guy's leg. And it's his 6th tripping incident, Patto. He wanted to do it. He wanted to hurt him.
Yep.
So it's a real worry, and you could talk about it all day. I just really don't know what is going to happen. They need a fresh start. They need new people at the MRO, the tribunal. It's becoming a joke. It is becoming a joke. And 4 weeks for Camporelli. I know we're going to challenge it. So I'd imagine that hearing will be in the next couple of days. We're filming this on the Tuesday night. So I'd imagine it'll be Wednesday or Thursday that whole challenge will go ahead, and Harry O'Farrell's dad, who is the lawyer, will get the job done.
That is funny. That is that is funny that how small the world is. But you mentioned there Harley Reid. I completely agree. Completely agree. And I don't know what the MRO's kind of like the kind of like what they kind of look at, like the regulations heading into the court case. I don't know what it actually is that they actually look at, like whether it's how many times they've been suspended, how many times they've been closer to being suspended, how many times that action has actually been made throughout the season. I don't know. and I don't know the regulations that they need to kind of follow to actually get suspended. But speaking of suspensions, Adam Chero is actually in his case right now, so we obviously will try and get an update for you through this episode. We are recording this on the Tuesday night, as Duffy just said, and it's 6:30 at the moment. So hopefully we do get an update through this episode, but we aren't exactly sure at the moment. But even if that's a suspension, that is just like that's the biggest slap in the face of the AFL public.
The only way for me, the reason why I think he might get a week, not me wanting, I don't want him to. I don't think it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like you said, stupidest thing. But I think they're going to make a case out of it.
Yeah,
aren't they? There hasn't been an answer now when we're reading it. I'm just trying to look on Twitter now. There hasn't been any further updates. But my thing is, if he is suspended, they're just trying to make a case out of it to stop players. Like I said in the review or the preview, they've been using the umpires as kind of a screen to get away from their opponents, which I think should be stopped. I think but then. As a sportsman, as an athlete, you're always trying to go kind of bend the rules. You're always trying to bend the rules for your success. So it's always going to be the case. If that gets changed, there'll be something else that people try to bend. So it's people talk about before the 666 went around, teams would put 20 blokes behind the footy to win the game. And then that rule was changed. New rules will come in. It's just going to forever happen. It's not cheating. It's just using the rules bending the rules to your, success.
Yeah, I mean, it's trying to use every single thing that kind of happens in the AFL to your advantage. Trying to make sure that you're actually using things, and as you said, trying to bend the rules a little bit, but enough that it's legal to then try to advantage yourself. But probably the last thing on the suspension as well. So I'm pretty sure that it's in a concussion scenario. I think if it's a suspension, it needs to be 3 weeks. It can't be 1. It can't be 2. I think it needs to be 3. So that's why with the Camp Rally one, I don't think that should be. I completely agree. I think it could be a week. It probably should be a week to kind of send a bit of a statement. So I think that's something that they need to look out for next year. If there are actions that is not acceptable, that's when you give them the 3 weeks. So I probably am comfortable with Cherry getting the 3 weeks. I really am. Yeah. But Camp Rally, I'm not comfortable giving the 3, giving the 4 weeks. And I know that probably sounds a little bit bad because I'm a Carlton supporter and it's a Carlton player. But I'm more looking at it as so who was the player that Camp Rally pushed?
Devin Robertson.
Okay, so he wasn't knocked out.
No, he's concussed. Yeah, so he
was knocked out.
So no, he got concussed. Yeah, so he got him concussed, and the other guy got broken teeth and got concussed. So he's got 2 guys in there. So that might be the reason. But once again, that's the impact rather than the action again. But then I understand that the impact sometimes has to be done as well. So it's just confusing, and hopefully they decrease his suspension because I think he's pretty close to getting a look in the ones we've spoken about him, and it's just frustrating for him personally because he won't be getting a game this year if he's suspended for 4 weeks. Yep.
Well, who knows? If they push it down to 3 weeks and maybe round 23 again. So I think that's the Suns game or even the Port game. We might even get a look. And who knows, mate? Final still might be on the card, even though mathematically I don't think we're even a chance to make it, which is just crazy to me. I don't know the last time. That's probably 2021 at this point in time of the season where that's really happened, which is pretty bad. But yeah, so just it was good that we touched on the suspensions, but I just thought I'd go through some names about the injuries as well. So Jack Silvani is to be confirmed with a groin injury, which is quite unfortunate. We thought that he could have been featured the next few weeks, so he will not be featured this week. Adam Sard returns from a concussion. From the concussion injury, it was 2 weeks in the end, so quite a lengthy concussion. So he should be able to return this week. Harry Mackay is another player that we probably would have hoped would have returned round 19, but he will be another week. Sam Walsh is another player that when that injury happened with the foot, it was kind of projected that he would be returning round 19, but that's now a further 2 weeks, so he probably won't be featured till round 21, and that probably is a player that probably you put on ice and just make sure you kind of end the season with maybe having some confidence with some full training. I'm not too sure, but probably shouldn't really need to be featured again in senior football. Nick Newman as well. I don't know if this was updated last week or this week, but obviously that knee injury has now been classified as season-ending injury, so that's quite unfortunate, but probably a good thing because that means that he can build towards next year. And also Mitch McGovern with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Very, very unfortunate. We weren't exactly sure when that happened, but seeing that on the injury list tonight, Daffy Boy was not good to see. And probably the last player that we'll touch on is Arazo Fantasia. Also with a hamstring injury, probably Mitch McGovern and Arazo Fantasia are the two probably most common players that we see that nowadays within Carlton with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
So very, very unfortunate for those two. But obviously we knew about Fantasia from last week's game. But Daffy Boy, let's now transition straight into our ins and outs. So I guess I'll throw straight to you with your kind of selections. If you want to touch on your if you want to touch on those names as well, about the Walshy, if you think he might return, Mackay as well, if you think he might return this year. I think Mackay is probably more likely to return than Sam Walsh, let's be real. But who knows, we might see both. Also, Jack Savani as well. He's another one who might not be returning. Like maybe you might not risk him, but I guess those few names that I mentioned, if you want to mention that, but also transition into your selections, because this week, once again, it's a big one, but we don't know if they will actually throw the axe this week.
Yeah, I feel like Carlton supporters always want the axe to be thrown, and we've done the same. The way we've been playing, we're just so disappointed in the output that our only answer is to drop players, and that's just how it works. That's just how footy works. So we're definitely not on the wrong there as supporters. But the two for me, Fantasia's been in very good form. I just felt like he was finally nailing his role. I'm not saying he's a fucking superstar, and I'm not saying he's a lock for the 22, but just in terms of he was finally just getting a little bit of something about him, just playing good footy, because he just hasn't had that. And a lot of his career has been cut short because of it. You know, a lot of his momentum and his ability to play has been cut short because of injuries, and that'll be another question at the end of the year. Does he get a contract extension? Another guy is out of contract that we checked before the episode in Mitch McGovern. There's just big questions. It's frustrating with Gov because he's a bit of a key position stock for us. And without him, what do we do? We'd probably keep O'Farrell on the side for however long McGovern's in, which is a positive. We wanted the young guys to come in. And in terms of Harry and Walshy, and I think we still need to find games out of them. They've been in recovery for a long time. So, it's not like we're rushing them back or anything. So, of course, I want them to be 100%. And I know Harry's going to be back next week. I think that's almost a lock. So whether Walshy comes back or not, I'd like to see them before the end of the year. Once again, I think we need a little bit of momentum and a bit of good form. I know, people go, good form, and it's like 9 months between the last game and round one. But I still feel like as a footballer, you want to be out there and getting amongst it with the players. So, I'm sure Jagger Smith would want to play.
Yeah, right, exactly right.
And, so when you have the opportunity to play, I don't think you'd want to not take that opportunity. But I'll pivot straight to my ins and outs, Patto. So I'll go with my outs for this game. Orazio and McGovern, obviously forced outs of this side because of injury. Easy done. And I've got two omissions. So I'm going to start with my first one, and my second one I'm going to have the only reason why I'd keep him in. So Fogarty will be dropped from this side. Okay. No explanation needed. I think we've both covered that pretty heavily. Let's be real. I think we've had full segments of why Lockie Fogarty should be dropped. He's just out of form. So,
and a quick one. Sorry to cut you off, but
that's right.
One about that as well. You've mentioned it. So many players this year, Doc and the Motlops, like they probably wouldn't want to play.
Yeah, like if you're out of form at any level, you want to get a few touches in the twos and kick some goals. Get some form back and a bit of joy back. Because he's like he was playing out of the goal square at some points, Fogarty last week. And that's a coaching thing. I'm not sure why he's there. When you got De Koning in there,
Yeah.
there's a bit of both. It's a bit of both happening. I think guys aren't being utilised to their ability because of the system we play, but also when they do have the opportunity to impact, whether it's in front of the scoreboard, especially him, he's missed some gettable shots that would keep him in the side for me, but he's just not kicking him. So unfortunately, he's dropped. And my last omission is Doherty. We've had him on the outs a few times, but my explanation is, if we know we're not going to offer him, clearly he thinks he might get a year. He could, for all I know. He could, for all I know. And it could get to the stage where we think he's going to retire, and he might think, fuck it, I'm going to work hard this preseason and get back to my best, which I'm fine with. But if the club knows, they might not know yet. But if they know that he is pretty much close to not receiving a contract, do you tell him, do you go, we're going to give you the last week or the last 2 weeks to give you a proper send-off for it? I'd say one game. Whether it's this week, next week, and you go, Doc, we love you, mate. The fans love you, and we want to respect you and finish on a high. And I know people don't want to give games and stuff, but we're in a hole anyway. And he's been a champion of this football club. The things he's gone through, the moments he's had, and I'm sad. I think it'd be a sad watch if we let him play the rest of the season. Like, I think more than 1 week. I think if we let him play the last 6 weeks, he's just not the Doc of old. And I think we just go, here's your last game. We're going to let everyone know, like, your decision if you want to retire, of course. Obviously, he'd be forced to retire. He can have his proper, everything on social media and people getting around him, and he can have that kind of week, because I think he's the play that deserves to.
Yeah, of course.
Have that, in my opinion. So that'd be the only reason why I keep him in. But other than that, he's dropped. So, who knows what's going to happen now? I don't think he's going to announce a retirement. But that would be my ideal situation. It's like more of a send-off. Imagine him this week, and you go, it's his last game, and you go, you give it everything. Don't worry about next week, getting your body right. You fucking give it everything. Play like the Doc of old for one more go, and you can carry him off the ground with Cooper and Weeders carrying him off the ground after a win. That'd be a great Carlton moment. I know our season's been bad, but those moments are great sometimes when you do farewell off the Warriors of our team. But my ins, Blake Acres, he didn't tear up the twos on the weekend, but he did for me. I think he just needed a bit of a break. Just have that week off, play twos footy. Limelight's not on you, because I just think structurally he's really, really good for us. So Sardi in backroom injury, it looks like, and Frank Evans is in for me. So it's 3 ins, 4 outs, but I've changed my sub. So Lord is into the 22, so he counts as an in technically, and I'm not going to drop Flynn Young. I'm going to play him as the sub. I'm going to give him one more roll of the dice, Patto, because, to be honest, he's played an away game against Port when we sucked balls. He played against Collingwood when the game was over. And on the weekend, he played like you're playing against a premiership contender, so it's not an easy. And he still had 12 touches or something like that. So it's not like he's not finding the ball. I think his issue at the moment is just that pace, but that's fine. Not his pace, but I mean getting rid of the ball. You have 0.5 of a second to get rid of it in AFL, whereas VFL you've got that leeway. So, and he's going to get better with time, Patto. So, yeah, those are my selections.
Like it a lot. Yeah, I don't mind Young being sub. I think it would be a bit stiff on him getting the flick. But I more see it as, like, I just don't think. I mean, as you said, I don't think he's up to the pace of it right now. But I think he can learn that with more senior footy.
That's the thing.
I think Moyer's kind of learnt that. I think Lord's kind of learnt that as well for most of the
100%.
season as well. So those guys, I think, will learn it. And that's why with my selections, I've made a few changes, and I feel like these guys who are coming in should get these same opportunities that these guys are getting. I don't know why they're not getting these opportunities when they're probably performing better in the VFL than what these guys were.
It's like they think it's going to hurt if we play too many of these guys, but
it doesn't make sense to me.
There's certain players that aren't performing. Like you talk about, I know this is not a young one, but you talk about Pitto and De Koning. People go, why are we playing Pitto ahead? Because his output is better right now than De Koning's. Doesn't matter what your name is. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not going to hurt us playing Billy Wilson. It's not going to hurt us playing whoever. Like when we dropped Carroll a few weeks ago. What the fuck was the benefit of that? Like, it just... on to you, Patto. I'm excited to see what you've got.
Yeah, and I mean, even with Carroll, let's just hope he doesn't get omitted and him get the flick, because he made a few bad errors on the weekend. But let's be fucking real. He was one of the guys from out like in the back line who was actually looking to take the game on.
Yeah.
And when he makes a few mistakes like Mitch McGovern does, and I'm sure Sam Docherty would have made him back in his day, Nick Newman would have made his moments. You even mentioned it in the review episode, Patrick Cripps would have made these moments when they're young.
Yes.
Like, he's just being delisted at the end of the year. He probably has a bit of pressure coming into this year, knowing that he needs to kind of like show the faith back into the club for kind of re-signing him and giving him an opportunity.
And now he's got that contract extension.
Exactly right. It's great. And then hopefully then that kind of shows that like he will now get the opportunity to play some senior football without having that like mental strain all year. And now he kind of knows that he does have a bit of security heading into the next few years that he can kind of utilize, and hopefully he can turn into a real player, because I think he has that. I think he has the capability to really turn into a super player off that back line, and even on the wing. He can be that tall winger, and he has a great ball use that we can utilize heading into forward 50. I seriously am excited about Macro, and I really am excited that he does get that he has had a bit of exposure to senior football, and let's just hope that he can get the same sort of exposure for the rest of the year. But just before I do touch on my selections, Sam Docherty, he's 31, turning 32 in October. So he's not old. I mean, he's heading towards the twilight of his career, if I could be kind. But my question is, it's a tough one to ask. If he does perform well, like he did a few weeks ago when we were like, this is the Doc of old. If he does that for the rest of the year, will your mindset be, okay, that's a good way to finish your career and now you retire? Or would your mindset be, fuck, we can actually utilize him in 2026 to still have that senior head there? Doesn't mean he doesn't need to play every single senior game next year. But having that guy around the club could help. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think that can be the case. Like I said before, maybe they know that he's going to get an extension, and he knows he's going to get an extension. I don't know. So, here's me talking about farewell games. He could be playing next year, but I'd need to see some sort of. I don't think it's more his ability. I just think he just looks like he's just that step behind, and he just like that courage that he's lost a little bit that he had. So, and that's not his. It's not his fault. He's been through a fair bit in his life, and just on field and off field. So, if that's the case, and he's on a cut price deal, and you go, here's 1 year, if you're good enough, you'll play. But if you're not, you're going to be playing twos, and whether he wants to accept going through another year like that. So, it's an interesting situation, and maybe that's the reason why they give him the next 6 weeks or give him the next couple of weeks to prove his worth.
Yeah. Absolutely love it, definitely. I'll very quickly go through my selections. They are quite similar, but as I said, there are a few different changes that I've made. So Arizo Fantasia obviously is out, McGovern as well. Lockie Fogarty I won't touch on too much. He was my probably first omission. I know I mentioned it last week. I don't know why he's in the side. I don't know why he is, like what his role is. And if he can come out this week, and if he does play again, I would like to see some sort of a different role, because I don't know why he's in the side. And the next omission that I am going to mention is Chincotta. Yeah. Tell me why he is in the side. And I don't know why he's in the side if he's only there to tag, but he doesn't even tag. No. And I don't think I really want to have that negative player. No. I think it's warranted for some games. Yeah, but we've got George Hewitt. I think Hawthorn do it quite well with Connor Nash, and I know a few years ago with McGuinness that he was only known as a tagger, but now that Nash is kind of in the midfield, and if they need someone, I think that would be quite positive for like a Hewitt to come in where that he can be dominant and get 33 touches, but you also know that he can get 10 touches, but dominate another player and make sure that he doesn't dominate a game. Like, I think that's something that I don't know why we've kind of continued to do. Can you name Chincotta's role heading into this week? Do you think he probably could be featured once again?
Yeah, well, I haven't dropped him. I think if we're going to play him, for me, I think you got to find him. I don't know how he gets a spot in the back six, but I think he has to just find a way in that back 50. I think he's a defender. So, and to be honest, their smalls are the dangerous part of Melbourne. Cozzy Pickett's and Melksham, but we've got Cowan for that. We've got
Exactly.
Saad for that. Like Cowan, I think's been phenomenal since he's come back.
Brilliant.
I think he is. I'm really pleased, and the way he's spoken about the club the last few weeks, I don't think Tassie going to target players like that. But I just feel like he's not going to. I feel like he's not that type of operator. So, really, really pleased with him. And Chincotta, maybe he's the sub. Maybe put him as the sub instead. He might be the perfect sub, to be honest.
Yeah. Maybe because, as I said, I've got Young as sub. So maybe that might be a change that I could see with Chincotta coming as a sub and Young coming in. I'm not too sure. But that means I need to make another change. I'm not too sure. I just don't think he has been warranted a spot. And it's kind of more off my end. So my last out, I will admit this was meant to be Doherty, but I just really deep down don't think he will be omitted.
Yeah,
like we've been trying to omit him for the past few weeks, and I don't think omitting him again is probably what I want to do. So
it's the same with Motlop.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think we got to a point where we were both dropping him every week. He's not going to get dropped. So what the fuck's the point of doing it?
I mean, we mentioned it before we pressed record on the episode. He's a cockroach. You can't fucking kill him. So we've got a few guys like that. We have got Law. We got Motlop, but also Levi Casbolt a few years ago. It's just you just can't kill. But I kind of gave a bit of a spoiler away there. My last out is Cooper Lord. Yeah. So very, very stiff. I don't think it's a guy that I really would like to drop, but I think my ins I'm quite excited about, and I've got 5 ins. I'm more concerned about my ins than my outs. I think Lord very, very stiff. You could even play Lord again as a sub and probably Young go back to the VFL. That might be a scenario that I might be more comfortable with. So my ins, so Adam Sard, Frankie Evans, I completely agree. I think he's been playing too well in the VFL to not get warranted a selection in the senior team. Harry Lemmy, once again, this is another player that I've been saying, why are the Ashton Moyers and the let's be real, Matthew Carroll, Harry O'Farrell, Flynn Young as well. Like, these guys are all getting the opportunity. Corey Durden, even to an extent, has been getting the opportunity from the VFL into the senior side. I want Lemmy to get that to get that spot. I don't know why he's not. And I don't know how much more he needs to get. And the past few weeks, he's been a little bit off. But once again, he had 2 goals, 2 on the weekend. That's still not an off game. But it's just a little bit off from the 7 goals that he kicked bloody 5 weeks ago. I don't know what more he needs to do. And I feel like he needs to be featured this year. And I think he can be featured against the D's this week to kind of build some momentum so he can head into 2026 with some confidence, playing some senior football, knowing that he can actually perform at that level. Billy Wilson also in to kind of help our defensive stocks, more so to kind of replace Chincotta. And my last in will be Blake Acres as well. He's kind of replacing Cooper Lord. I don't think Cooper Lord is on the wing, but that could be Cooper Lord or Sam Doherty, whatever role that is. Blake Acres will come in, and I'm quite excited about Acres because, as I said a few weeks ago, I think he's so important for structure. So let's hope he comes back into the side. But I also probably would understand if he doesn't, and he needs to have a few more weeks in the VFL to really earn back Vossi's kind of trust in him to perform as senior football, because he has been very, very poor, and I'm sure he would be one of the players that would kind of come out and admit that. So, Daffy Boy, let's now move on to the opposition watch. This is for the people who don't know what we do for this segment. We go through the back line, the midfield, and the forward line for the Brisbane Lions. I had the Brisbane Lions. I had the Brisbane Lions stats from last week, so that's why I said Brisbane Lions. For the Melbourne Demons this week, and we go through each player, each line, and touch on a player for each line for the Ds, and kind of explain why it could be a bit of a threat come this Saturday night at the MCG for the Daffy Cup. So, Daffy boy, I'll throw straight to you for the backline opposition watch for the Ds. Who have you got?
I'll watch a fair bit of Melbourne just because of the whole family connection, but not me. No, we don't play for Melbourne or anything. I've just got a guy who supports my father who supports Melbourne. But they've got they've rolled some different names through there this year, and they had Tom McDonald playing there on the wet, who I thought was actually unfairly dropped at some stage. And the only reason why he came in the side was Stephen May with illness last week, and he'll be back this week. So I'd imagine he replaces McDonald. But for me, it's Jake Bowie. He has had a super year. I think he's always been a solid player, but I think he's taken the next step. And, we speak about it. Those halfbacks are they're worth so much in a team these days. I think the way footy's going is the Carlton coaching group clearly don't understand that the contested side of footy is dying. Well, not dying, but the contested game style, the brute game style. I think the way we play now would have been great in 2005. But nowadays, I think it's a sexy kind of brand of footy at the moment. There's silky halfbacks and Wanganeen Millers, Bowies, Whitfield. Guys, I think that's where the game is going. And I think we need to hop on that train soon, Patto, before we miss the fucking train again. So Bowie's one of those players. Loved his season. He'll be top 3 in the BNF for Melbourne. And, we've got to quell his influence. Because with ball in hand, he can hurt you.
I absolutely love him as a player. And a player that I will mention, I know that he's kind of been transitioning into the wing and a bit off the halfback, but I think he's a player I really do think he's an absolute superstar. Well, I don't think he's a superstar right now, but he will be a superstar the next few years. And it's Xavier Lindsay. I think his ball use is something that I wish that we would have at the Carlton Football Club. I think he's going to be a future leader as well. Probably like 5-6 years' time. I think he could definitely be even a part of the leadership group, but even arguably be the captain of the Melbourne D's. Him and Harvey Langford, I think they're both superstars of the game. Future superstars of the game. I've said that a few times, but yeah, I think Lindsay will be my opposition watch off the halfback flank. But David Boy, I think the past few weeks we've kind of mentioned a few teams, and like each kind of line just keeps getting a little bit scarier and scarier. We kind of moved to the midfield opposition watch for the D's this week. I think the forward line, all due respect, probably will be a little bit of a slimmer side, I guess. Probably a little bit we can kind of dominate that side of the game. But I think the Melbourne midfield is very, very good in terms of a Harvey Langford who can roll through there, Petrarca, Jack Viney as well. But I'll throw straight to you. Your midfield opposition watch for the Ds. Who have you got?
Yeah, they got a lot of guys who roll through there. You touched on Langford. I think he's going to be a star. I think he is an absolute gun, and I think he should be up there with rising star in terms of his consistency this season. I just think he's played most games. I think he missed the first game as the sub. For some reason, they played him as the sub. But, he's just been really, really good. And he's going to be my opposition watch, actually. There's something about him. He's taller. He's got a good tank. He's got good speed. He's got everything. He's got a bit of everything. I think he's going to be a very good player. And, it showed you how good the draft was this year that he slid down to, was it six or seven?
Yeah, I think it was 6.
6 or 7 in the in the draft, and Jaggers and other guys came through there. So that excites me about our side of things. But yeah, really like the way he goes about it. Him and Lindsay, I know they're higher rated picks, but it shows you that when you put them, I don't know, like you just kind of support them and you get them in the team and you keep playing them, that it'll come back in waves for you. And it has. I know they haven't been dominating, but they've both been playing pretty consistent footy for their first seasons. And I know the second year blues comes. I know Windsor's had those second year blues. Other players have had heaps of players have had those second year blues, even the best players. So yeah, really like the way Langford goes about it.
Yeah, love him as a pick. You probably would know a little bit more than me because you're quite close to Melbourne with your old man. But do you see Harvey Langford going through a little bit more like centre-bounce tendencies? Because I know that he's been playing mostly on the wing. Do you think when he finish the year, he could be featured as an inside midfielder?
Yeah, it's interesting. He will be that in his future.
Yeah,
I think 100% will be that. But
yeah.
yeah, they just seem to be not really opting him to go in there.
And why is that?
Um,
Why is
I
that?
don't know why. I don't really know why. Because they just seem to be. They keep that kind of midfield group of Gorn, Petrarca, Viney. They've had Rivers go through there. Obviously, Sparrow's going to miss. So,
Oliver.
but yeah, Oliver, obviously, Clayton Oliver. They kind of just keep going with the same
Yeah,
kind of mix, and it hasn't helped, in my opinion, which has been like it was a good question. I really don't know. I don't know the reasoning. He is good on the wing,
yeah.
but yeah, maybe they think if he goes in the mid, maybe one of those other guys misses out on a game. I'm not too sure.
I've got actually a few questions about the midfield
Mm.
of the D's because there now is a few kind of questions. But I'll throw straight to my opposition watch
Yep.
before I ask those questions. So I think the midfield opposition watch for me, I think it has to be Petrarca. I do usually go the generic ones, but I think he's a big threat. He has had a few off weeks the past few weeks. I don't think his ball
Yeah.
use has been overly great, so I think he would love to perform in front of the Carlton
Absolutely.
fans. Hopefully, probably 60 to 70,000 at the
He was,
MCG.
he was good
So
on the weekend. He was good on the weekend.
yeah,
He
yeah,
had the
but I think
10
it's a bit.
coaches votes, I think.
Yeah, I think he needed that, but I think he needs to kind of perform against all due respect to North Melbourne, but I don't think we're a good side
No, I
either.
agree.
But I just think he needs to have a
I
bit,
agree.
few more, like a few more better games in the midfield because I think he's been kind of pushed around as a
Yeah.
forward, as a
Yeah.
midfielder as well. So let's not hope it doesn't happen this week. But him as a footballer, let's hope he does get back to his best. But as I said, let's hope it doesn't happen this week. But so you mentioned there about Tom Sparrow. So he obviously will be missing this week. And I guess I'll throw the question back to Harvey Langford. Do
Mm.
you reckon with Tom Sparrow coming out, do you reckon that opens an opportunity now for Harvey Langford to come in to kind of cover that inside midfielder void that Sparrow kind of does keep there? Because I think there probably are a few players that can come in as to kind of replace that wingman, whether it is a Windsor, because he obviously played as a sub on the weekend,
Yes.
now playing
Yes.
on the wing. Do you think that could be a scenario that we could see, like maybe Windsor comes in and he could maybe go back into the back line and maybe Lindsay kind of
Mm.
transitions now to the wing, or maybe they just keep everything the same. Sparrow comes out and then they bring in a new inside midfielder. But I guess my
Mm.
question to that also is who would that be?
Yeah, no, I think your point's right. I think Langford will be getting more time now without Sparrow. That's going to be a different look, of course, for them, having a kind of a taller guy in there with Langford, left footer, as I stated before. But you can also throw guys like, I think Cade Chandler's had a really good
Yeah,
year.
Cade, yeah.
He has been playing on the wing a fair bit because he's got that booming left foot, but I think at the moment he has that body to go in there. So I have different guys through there. Pickett will be getting more time now. Absolutely. I don't know what's better for us. Is it better for him to have more mid time, or is it better for? Seriously, I do not even know, and I really worry if he gets more mid time because I just don't know who's going to run with him. I really don't know. Do you give Cooper Lord a job and go, here you go, Lordy? Even then, I don't know if that's the right matchup. That's why you look at their team and you look at ours. It's like the holes are in different spots of the ground.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like they need our forwards, and I
Yes.
know in defence they've been pretty good. It's a weird. I don't know what the whole read on both of our seasons are, but they're different, but very similar. If that makes sense. Like I just think they've had their issues is forward line, and we can't score. But our issue isn't the personnel up forward. Their issue is the personnel up forward and the ball use. So it's similar. I'm going to be crazy right now, but it's just I do not know why our seasons have turned out the way they are. In a sense, I know the ball use stuff, but it's just gone so badly and so pear shaped for both clubs in the same season. Where I know they struggled last year, but the start of the season they were probably looking to push for finals, and they're not pushing for it at all. Similar to us, so I don't know.
You are absolutely spot on. I've been thinking this about Melbourne all year, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like if we were to split teams, not
Mm.
not not completely switch, but kind
No,
of
no.
split teams, I feel like our first pick will be Cozzy Pickett, their first pick will be Charlie Curnow.
Yeah,
It's
even
actually
a
crazy.
Mackay.
Yeah, well, Harry, but
Money.
also like in terms of, I guess, in the defensive, I know they have May, I know they have Lever, but probably would like a Wiedering as well. Like, let's be real, and probably in the midfield they would love to have probably a Paddy Cripps, but they already have a Petrarca and Oliver. But
Mm.
there's so many players, and
I know.
it's actually very funny that you said that because I was thinking that
Mm.
if we were to kind of do a club switch with Melbourne, we would love to have Cozzy. They would love to have Curnow. It's actually crazy.
It
And
is. It
I
is.
feel like it's quite crazy as well with Gorn speaking about how TDK will be a future generation ruckman, and then now TDK probably won't be at the club next year, which is just great. Exactly what
It's.
you want to hear, Daffy boy.
I think that's why our clashes against them have been so close.
Yes.
And I don't always think it's for the greatest reason. I think it's because we play exactly the same style of game. They play a contested style. I told you before that, like, I think the Carlton coaching group forget that contested-based footy is not the winning thing. They are exactly the same. They are exactly the same. This is why I think this game will be close. I know our form hasn't been great. Theirs hasn't been good.
No.
Either. I know they beat North on the weekend, and they played pretty well, but we both play the same styles. So we're not going to be like, you look at Brisbane and you look at teams who've been beating us convincingly. They play so different. Collingwood play so different to us, but Melbourne will play into our hands. Melbourne will play into our hands and we will play into their hands. Hence why the game will be close, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably the first game since probably...
Same here.
Since probably... Oh no, probably the Giants game that I've just been kind of optimistic, and it's not because we're playing better football.
No.
I just think it's like I feel like Melbourne are a very good opposition for us to play right here, right now. I know that once again, Melbourne just won against North Melbourne, and they've probably been playing better football than us. But I think our style against their style, I think the way that we're playing right now, we can be more of a chance to win against Melbourne. But you watch, we'll probably say this, and Melbourne will find their tune and they'll win by 35 points and probably charge towards the finals. And this is their season-defining game that they needed. Who knows? Let's get the D's back into form. Fuck me. But Dash Boy, let's now move on to the forward line opposition watch. You just mentioned there about Kasai Pickett. That kind of gives a bit of a spoiler as to who my forward line opposition watch will be. It is 100% will be the big number 36 in the forward line. Well, not so big, but in terms of his contract, maybe, but in terms of his size, probably not. But I'll throw it straight to you. Your forward line opposition watch for the D's. Who have you got?
Well, this guy is in career best form at the moment, and I feel like I'll need to check this after we record, but I think he has kicked many goals against us in the past, and it's Jake Melksham. And I remember that 2022 Cozzy Pickett winning goal game where we should have won, and then we lost to Collingwood the week after. Jake Melksham kicked 4 or 5 that night, and I remember he was kicking goals out of his ass. And I feel like there's been games in the past. I remember he kicked a few goals when he was at Essendon against us a few times. I just think he's one of those guys, and at the moment, he is killing it. He is absolutely killing it. He does not have a contract for next year. Obviously, he'll probably re-sign. He's 35. He's 35 or something. Yeah, so maybe we give him a nice little 1 year, so he doesn't kick goals against us when we play him. But no, Jake Melksham for me. He presents really well. I think the last 7 to 8 weeks he's been really, really solid. Last week against Gold Coast, I think he kicked 6. He kicked 4 on the weekend. So I think there was some stat where it was a certain amount of goals over a period of time. It's the most Melbourne have had since David Neitz in 2005. So that's showing you how good he is playing at the moment. So for me, I don't know who the matchup will be. Maybe Haynes. Do you go Haynes? Do you follow him because he has that tank Melksham as well? He runs up the ground really well. He presents really well. So do you go Haynes? Because we don't have Silvani playing. So, yeah, I think that's a Haynes matchup.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'm more thinking about it as well because he's 33. He will be 34.
33.
But he's 34 in August. So you're a year off. But I was more thinking could that be a guy that we could throw some opportunities at for 2026? But I'm I kind of looked at 33 and I'm like, oh, okay. But I'm like, he's 34 in August. Probably not. But also, we did the same thing with Nick Haynes. We've seen how he's kind of turned out. So who knows? But I like it a lot. I think Haynes could be the option. But so there's So I'll go through some names. So Van Rooyen, you would expect Wienering would go to.
Yep.
Probably. Yep. See, so it's Fridge for me.
I
think Haynes could go to Fridge and probably O'Farrell go to Melksham. But I think Haynes is more suited for Melksham.
Yeah. Because I feel like Melksham will give O'Farrell a bar.
Exactly right.
And just not saying Harry can't do it.
Yeah.
But I just think because the form he's in and that strength he has, Melksham, I think Haynes just being the older head.
Yeah. So would you rather, thinking about Haynes going to Melksham, would you rather O'Farrell go to Fritsch or O'Farrell go to Melksham? Because Melksham has been in career best form in my opinion. I think he's been super. But Fritsch has found his form as well. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. I think you can probably write off where Wienering will go to Van Rooyen. But then you've also got Matthew Jefferson as well, playing in the forward line, who's been playing as that key forward. So I don't know if you pretty much have to have...
Put O'Farrell on him, I think.
O'Farrell, yeah.
Yeah, I think because they're same stature, same age.
Yeah.
They almost cancel each other out. And then with Fritsch, you probably put Cowan.
Cowan, yep. Cowan, good point.
Cowan to Fritsch, and then the issue is who goes to Pickett. Is it Sard? Sard seems to take Pickett most times and actually does a pretty good job. Not going to say he did a good job this week, but
Hollins?
What was that?
Ollie?
Yeah, on Pickett.
Yeah, I know.
No. I'd rather Ollie take a Langdon or whoever's playing that high half forward role.
Oh, right,
Yeah, because Langdon hasn't been – because he's a winger. He will go through the wing, but he has been playing a high half forward role instead to put Chandler on the wing and put Langford on the wing. So that might change as well with Langford pushing into the middle. They might push Lindsay off half back onto a wing, or they could put Langford from half forward to the wing. So it could work either way. And, pick it on Hollins just gives me – I think, he has the fight in him, but he is just another level because he picked it. And I think you're either going to put Cowan on him, or you're going to put. I think Sard's pace is perfect for him.
Yeah, I think they can work as a team, Cowan and Sard, where if you have one who's kind of he will be quicker than Cowan. So if that's kind of something that will be a bit of a worry, that's when you put Sard on him. But then if it's kind of size-wise, that's when you probably put Cowan there to kind of cancel him out, because I think Cowan's probably better from a defensive standpoint than Sard. But I think Holland's I know earlier on in the year we kind of looked at Holland's against Moore as well, how he cancelled him out. So I think, I will not trust him on Kazai Pickett at all.
Yeah,
but
it's not Ollie's fault.
Hey?
And it's not Ollie's fault at all. It's just that Cozzy is just a different beast.
Yeah, God. But, I kind of spoiled it heading into this segment, but my opposition watch would definitely be Kazai Pickett for the forward line. And I think, I personally think he will roll through the midfield a little bit more. I think he probably could be 75%, 25%. I know that he's kind of been 50-50 split, but I think this week you probably could put him through the middle. And whether that means that Jesse Motlop could be matched up on Kazai Pickett and their centre-backs and tennises. Duffy Boy, what are your thoughts about that?
Oh, jeez. No comment. That's all I need to say.
Boy, oh boy. Well, I know that I even I think it was against the Pies when I kind of like went through some players to kind of compare our list to their list, and I think I compared Lockie Fogarty to Jamie Elliott. I think I compared Jesse Motlop to Bobby Hill. Isn't it funny that we're now comparing Jesse Motlop to Kasai Pickett? Boy, oh boy, well we. Boy, oh boy. But Duffy boy, let's now move on to the match predictions. I'll throw straight to you for the bag of the game. Point of difference. Winner plus margin. It's been a little bit more optimistic this week because we're probably more of a chance to beat the D's rather than the Lions and the Pies the past few weeks. Throw straight to you. Match predictions. What have you got?
Our mindset has either gone optimistic or delusional. I think it's a mix of both, but we've got to get ourselves through this somehow. That's my thinking. And let's just get a fucking win on the board. And let's not make it a nail biter against these guys again. I'll take it though. But best on ground for me, he's going to do it again. Paddy Cripps. Paddy Cripps is going to be my best on ground. I think it's going to be a bit of a dewy Saturday night. He likes those conditions, I feel. And with Pitto, he has been better. Pitto and him are the perfect duo, especially in the guts. He's just different to TDK in that position. So Paddy Cripps for me, point of difference. Point of difference, Patto. I think he got dropped when he probably was a bit harsh. And I feel like he's becoming a little bit of a scapegoat at Carlton. And I've brought him in. Frank Evans is going to be my point of difference. His form in the VFL has been really good. I want him to prove to me that he can be in this team. Frankie, the Tank, Evans. And my winner plus margin, Patto, you spoke about the optimism. I've spoken about the delusion. We're fucking due. We are overdue. And the winner of this game is going to be Carlton, Patto.
Wow.
It's going to be. Looking at the teams, I've looked at their list and ours, and I think I'm a little bit delusional in thinking that we're going to win because I just feel like they have a bit more firepower at the moment. But I think we're going to win this game. And funnily enough, Patto, we're going to win it by under a goal again. 5 points. And Mark Pitternet takes a clutch mark deep in D50. And the whole crowd says, strength! Strength for big Pitternet. And, hopefully just a win and a good Saturday night. And we can get on the review and actually talk about some fucking positives. That's why I'm tipping us, because I'm sick and tired of hopping on these episodes with you, Patto, and talking about these idiots who do not know how to hit a target. Give us something. That's all I'm going to ask. And we've said it for how many weeks, Patto? How many fucking weeks? So many weeks.
Oh, love it. Love it. I don't see Mark Pitton there taking the match winner.
I don't either.
But, if it does happen, I'll be over the moon about it. I feel while you were talking, I made sure to mute the mic. I felt a sneeze coming, so I sneezed, but now I feel another sneeze coming, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. So my eyes are watering a little bit. So I just need to, if I feel it coming, I might need to mute the mic and sneeze again. But yeah, I just thought I would mention that. But update on Chera. He has been fined. So not suspended. He has been given a fine. But guess how much the fine was, Daffy boy?
$5,000.
5,525.
Oh, it was almost
Are
on
you
the money.
fucking kidding me?
That's all right. I think Ches can pay that.
Yeah, well, let's be real. Yeah.
Well, that's positive, and it's good we've found that out heading into this game. They might help your match predictions better.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm keen to see these.
So best on ground. I'm more worried about this sneeze coming if I am honest. I feel it coming, but let's just hope that I can get through the episode. But best on ground, I will admit it was Paddy Cripps, but as soon as you said Paddy Cripps, I know I always need to change it because I usually want to try and credit some other players. Best on ground, Nick Haynes.
Yeah, like it.
Come on, Hainesy. Dominate Saturday, 35 p.m. It probably will be raining against the D's. It always kind of seems like
it always is it?
Yeah, it always seems like it's raining against the D's. That sneeze is not far away. I will say that right now. I think Haynes will be best on ground. Point of difference, Ashton Moyer.
Like it.
Dominate in front of the MCG, in front of the MCC members, Daffy Boy. And winner plus margin. I really, really wanted to tip the Blues. I really did. But I've nothing to go off it. I really don't. The D's are coming off a win. I know it was only against North Melbourne, but unfortunately, I think I will have to tip the D's. But I feel like I want to go a little bit closer, but I'm going to go D's by 22 points. Yeah. I don't think it will be that. I think it could be a little bit closer. But yeah, let's just hope it'll be closer and the Blues can finally get a win to just try and make something out of this season to head into 2026. But Daffy Boy, throw straight back to you. Kind of the last sort of words on this preview show. It's been a bit of a different one, obviously, with this whole different look with the new platform. I think it will take a few episodes to get used to, but I think we got through it quite swiftly. And it was good to start on this platform, and I'm sure we will have some more opportunities the next few years with this platform now. But last words on the episode, mate, for the D's preview. What have you got?
No, we've covered a lot, through suspensions and all that type of thing, and it's good to see Chera get off. Fines are fine. He was on $800K a year. I'm sure he can be okay with that. Old Ches, but yeah, I'll be. I know a few weeks ago I said I wasn't going to attend another game. I think that was just out of, I haven't attended a game since. I needed a few weeks off mentally, and I wanted to get a little bit of just get keen to get going again. I'm keen to go on Saturday night. I don't know why. They've not shown me anything that I should be keen for, and I'm prepared for the worst. But I don't know why. Maybe the family rivalry, but because I said to him before, I said it would be fucking hilarious if we played like shit for so long and then beat Melbourne again. It would be very funny. But yeah, looking forward to it. MCG, let's just get around him. Let's get around him this weekend. Get some sort of. I feel like it's going to be on. I just got to feel like both teams have something to prove in terms of, finishing off the year well. So let's get it done, Patto.
Yep, spot on. Brilliantly wrapped up, Daffy Boy. I think I have the same opinion about when we play the Saints. I just want to make sure we go out and win against the Saints because obviously that team is kind of around my family. So I think we kind of have a similar view about that. But I think you kind of like the D's a little bit more than I like the Saints. I don't really like the Saints at all. And it's more towards the supporters. It's not my family's supporters. It's more just the supporters of the Saints. And I know that the D's supporters are a little bit better. Looking forward to this game. But let's just hope, as you said, it is a different look. It's not. Yep. I don't want it to be the same shit. There's no way that they can dish up the same stuff every single fucking week. But you watch, they will. They'll do the same stuff. It will be the same thing until the end of the year, and we'll be like, okay, well at least the season's fucking finally done.
Yep.
It's just, I'm at the point now where I think the season should be ending soon. I kind of hope the season ends soon so we can look forward to next year. But as you said, if we can just make something out of the rest of these weeks of the season, hopefully it is a good thing. But to every single blue bagger out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure to also get around our podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music as well. And also make sure to get around our social platforms as well, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and a few others out there. I've gotten through the episode, but I reckon as soon as this episode will be done, the sneeze will be coming, Daffy Boy. But to you, Daffy Boy, and to every single blue bagger out there.
Baggers.